What's up, guys? Markle's here, and today I'm going to talk to you guys about the Boston Massacre. But that's a little bit boring by itself, so in honor of spooky season, of course, we're going to get a bit spooky with it on the count of three. Okay, 3, 2, 1, spooky season, guys. Woo! Since it is spooky season, we're going to celebrate, and usually when you celebrate, what do? You bake a cake. Boston Massacre. So, first of all, we need to know what about the Boston Massacre are we learning today before we start our cake, and then we'll dive into it, because we need to know that first. We're going to learn about what really happened, because there's a lot of misconceptions. So, what really happened at the Boston Massacre, guys? Nobody knows. Actually, we do know. You might not, but I do. So that's why I'm here, to teach you. We're going to learn how propaganda played a part. Propaganda. So, we have our questions. I'm going to give you a minute to think on those while I start my cake, okay? We're going to make a spooky cake. Spooky cake. Oh, actually, don't run with scissors. It's not safe. Don't do what I just did. Always wash your hands after touching raw eggs. Got that, guys? Always. So, while I'm stirring my cake mix for my spooky season cake, let's talk about the Boston Massacre. So, first off, a lot of people think that, it's called the Boston Massacre, so lots of people died, right? No, that's wrong. There were only like 5. Only like 5 people died. And a very big key component is the fact that no one was actually really paying attention within the chaos of, everyone was screaming and yelling, everyone was throwing things, if everybody's throwing things at each other, everybody's screaming and yelling, it's kind of hard to tell what one singular person is saying. So, it would not be hard to imagine, all those soldiers mishearing their captain telling them to fire, or maybe he said don't fire. They don't know. Nobody knows what exactly was said except the captain himself, who said what he said. The captain himself says he told them not to fire. Clearly, they did not hear that. At least not very well. Because they did fire, So that's what actually happened. It started with a bunch of townspeople who were just done with these soldiers. They were like, these guys, they gotta go. We do not like these guys one bit. So all the townspeople in Boston who did not like these British soldiers one bit, got together. Like, they planned this whole thing. They were like, let's storm, I forgot what the place is called, but it was some building with all the king's money in it and whatnot. Not the king's money, the state's money, the government's money. Whoever's money it was, they were important and so was their money. And the townspeople were like, that's not okay. Let's go attack this building and attack these soldiers. And that's exactly what they did. They were throwing stuff, all kinds of stuff, man. Like, they had clubs. They were throwing snowballs packed with rocks. So, it would be expected of the soldiers to fire, even though they were told not to. So, we're back. Cake is in the oven. I'm ready to go. How does propaganda play a part in this whole thing? There were only, so many soldiers. So, imagine 5 people saying one thing, and there's 100 other people saying something completely different. Those 100 people are probably more likely to be believed than the 5 people. So when the soldiers were saying, it was self-defense, it was an accident, we only killed a few of you, everybody else was saying, it was a tragedy, it was a disaster, it was horrible, so many people were dying, they did it on purpose. So as time goes on, and these soldiers and their captain have been put in jail, they can't really get it out there what really happened, but everybody else can very easily throw it out that, it was a tragedy, a disaster. So, all their propaganda gets out, Nobody knows if it was an accident or not, except for the people who did it, which the soldiers. who were sent to jail, who didn't get not their ideas, their point of view out there until like a long time later when people were reading their diaries. So away from that, and let's go over here and let's look at the effects. What happened after? So in Boston specifically, soon after this massacre happened, a bunch of things happened. A bunch of the government got together and were chit-chatting and talking and stuff, and they passed some act or something, and were like, hey, British guys, get out. So British are now gone from Boston, just Boston. And soon after this is kind of what started leading up to more places within the colonies, the 13 colonies, like also being like, hey, the British kind of suck. Kick them out. So all of that, put all of that together, and eventually that's going to keep building up and building up and up and up and up. So much up that my hands can't make it go more up than it is. This is as up as my hands go. This is as up as my hands go. It's way upper than that. Okay? Just keeps building. Up, 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 up. Until we get to things like war. Which, as you know, happened. And I got it all. In a pretty unprofessional manner, but I got it all. Anyways, I'm gonna wait for my cake to be done in the oven, and then we're gonna put it together. Why would you say that? That's me, Sabe. That's me. Ta-da! I spelt it wrong, even though you can barely read it. So yeah, we have our spooky Boston Massacre cake. I don't know what to do with it now. I mean, I could eat it tomorrow. Anyways, thank you for watching. Especially to those who were not required to watch this, because I know some of you were